Chris, the first question is for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite song of Ride?
How does it feel?
Yeah? Why?
It's just a great tune. I know it's a cover,
Yeah?
but it's the one that sort of
Cool.
I first heard, yeah.
It's been a long time for you since Ride, I think.
Yeah, very long.
1988 until 1996.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts, quick thoughts on those days?
I'm very proud of those days.
So you should be.
Yeah, I mean, did 4 albums and they're all good, you know. I'm just kind of, yeah, happy with the whole thing. I mean, I get on with the guys these days, and
Yeah.
well, I mean, I'm really can't believe that it's been 20 years, because there's now a 20th anniversary edition of Nowhere, which is the first album. That's quite mad.
That sounds good. Question for you. What do you think of the drumming on There She Goes from the Lars?
I like these
Big
questions.
fan of the drums on there. I actually got the 7-inch of that.
Yeah?
With the red background and a picture of Chris looking about like 12.
I was.
Yeah. No, the Lars are actually a huge musical touchstone for Beady Eye.
Yeah?
One of the main, I guess, central influences on the band.
Why? How come?
Something
It's 'cause
about
they're so bloody good.
Yeah, so bloody good, man. I mean, for me anyway, it's the economy of the arrangements, like between the guitars, bass, and drums, and they don't use the instruments in the same way as almost any other band I've heard. It's all almost like single hits on the drums, quite beef hearty. The guitars are used for like specific little melody lines, and the bass is very much to the fore, and the whole thing is put together so well. So it's like a really inspirational band.
Do you still recall your drumming, I mean the actual recording session for that song?
Do I recall it?
Yeah?
You say, yeah, I can remember it, just about. It's only 22 years ago.
20 years. Was there something important for you, maybe that song, drumming that song? Or?
Yeah, it's just I just remember hearing it for the first time on an acoustic guitar and, you know, getting the hairs on the back of your neck, you know, standing on it, you know, that's a good tune.
You already mentioned, well, the Lars. Are there any other influences maybe on that you can, well, say on this new band, on Beady Eye? Well, of course, you've got a song called Beatles and Stones on the album, so they are two bands who are extremely important for us. Also, I'd say from that same era, you've got the Bee Gees and the Kinks and the Who have a bit of influence on the album. I mean, the song Beatles and Stones sounds more like the Who than either the Beatles or the Stones. And then I'm thinking about like maybe the beat goes on, there's a bit of a Kinks feel to it.
Got a Hollies vibe in there.
And the Bee Gees, just the early Bee Gees, have a certain hazy kind of sound that is probably used on quite a lot of songs that we do. And then more recent than that, I'd say the Stone Roses were another big one. From the late 80s.
So was it? Did you talk about this maybe before you actually recorded the songs or wrote
No, it's just what we're into. You know, it's what we've always been into. Them kind of bands. You know, if you're into them kind of bands and then you sit around making music, you're gonna make similar, you know, guitar-based music. You know, so.
Well, of course, the previous band Oasis. I don't know what you can say, but. The 28th of August of 2009, what happened back then?
We arrived at a festival site near Paris, or in the outskirts of Paris.
We were proceeding along the highway.
At 55 miles per hour. We got there and things were pretty tense, or had been pretty tense between Noel and Liam on the tour.
How come?
In general. Just personal between the two of them, you know. And there was a bit of a row between the two of them at this festival site when we arrived. I mean, we came there from London with Liam. The rest of the band, it was I guess me, Chris, Jay, Gem, Liam travelled together to the site, and Noel came on his own. Got there, they had a row, very quick, and just the fact, the way that it kind of finished was making it pretty obvious that there wouldn't be a show. There wouldn't be. We only had 2 more shows after that to finish the tour, but Noel went straight to London. And then the next day he put out a statement saying, that he was finished with the band and that was it. So we kind of reacted to that, I guess. It's quite shocking at the time, and then pretty soon after the initial shock, we kind of decided that we would continue as a new band. And that's how you get Beady Eye, really.
But how come? Because they often had.
They often had arguments.
Yeah, but how come was this one special? Was it?
I think you can
or
say it was the straw that broke the camel's back or something between the 2 of them. I mean, I don't think it was a particularly big
Yeah, people now
issue.
think maybe that they really I don't know, that something really heavy happened, or. But it was just the final straw.
Yeah, I think so. And I think as well that if you really think about it, it had probably run its course between them. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they will one at some point, be able to get on together again. But that's really not my business anyway. I hope they do, and I wish them both all the best in that. It's a hard thing really when people in your band don't get on. But you kind of have to let them work it out.